Hello, it's Jon S Sports channel, and today we're going to have a review of the games on the 27th of November in the Championship, and we'll start with Leeds versus Luton. So, without further ado, let's continue. Leeds United versus Luton Town owned 76% possession to Leeds United and 24 to Luton Town. 20 shots by Leeds, 11 on target, 3 goals. Yeah, they'd be pretty happy with that. Perhaps a few more goals from 11 games for a team right at the very top, of course. But, I'm being a bit picky there, aren't I? But yeah, they'd be very, very happy with those stats. 7 shots from Luton Town. I think that they'd be reasonably happy with that from 24%. 4 on target, which is pretty good. They'd be probably quite disappointed they didn't get a goal. But at the end of the day, you watch the game and you think Leeds were just in control throughout the game, and there were times when Luton Town just didn't look like ever scoring quite rightly. So I remember one ball coming across from the left-hand side to the right-hand side, and the striker was about 1.5 yards from the right-hand post, and it's headed. It's the ball's trajectory is almost down to just above his foot. So the guy steps closer to it and tries heading it from about waist height, and of course fails dismally. And you're thinking it would have been easier to do what the Leeds guy did with his first goal. A bit of a jump, lift yourself higher and bash it in the back of the net. But no, he decides to lower his head to his waist height and try and head it in. You can't get any power if you lower your head to your waist height. It's just nigh on impossible. Now, what on earth you thought? And there were things like that all the way through the game for Luton Town where you're thinking, that was just a bad decision. Wasted chance. And Sky kept saying the same thing. What a waste of chat. What a wasted whatever. What a wasted corner. What a wasted. And you're thinking, so many chances were just wasted by Luton Town. I thought that they might come out here and say, yeah, we have to do something because of our position and because of the levelness of that probably bottom 2/3 of the Championship. But no, they didn't. They played today the same as they have done for the last X games, and I haven't seen a change, and I really thought I would. Yes, I agree. I didn't think that they'd do anything against the Leeds side that are rocking, but I thought that they might turn up a little bit better than this. At the end of the day, Leeds won convincingly 3-0. What did we say? Oh, we said 3-0. Correct score, correct result. Thank you, guys. You got me in on that one. That's all down to you lot. You keep the suggestions coming through. So, Leeds 3, Luton 0. It was probably should have been more than that. Looking at the game and looking at the sheer audacity of that first goal, yeah, you just have to think that Leeds, it was just a case of how many rather than if. Great display by Leeds. A display that I think was missing last year. There was just that confidence missing last year to me. They had the class, they had the style, but a lot of times they didn't have the confidence that they had in that particular game on Wednesday, and I think that showed. If they can carry on with that, then it's just a case of when will they be out and out challenging for that first place and making sure that they definitely go up in the automatic slot. Because at the minute, obviously Leeds in first place, equal with Sheffield United, and goal difference of 19, goal distance of 15 for Sheffield United. So, it's looking good for Leeds, and if they can keep that up, like I say, that sort of confidence level should see them well in that top 2 realistically at the moment anyway. Obviously there's probably 4 teams that could get that top position, but I think that with that confidence they showed Wednesday, no problem at all. Luton Town on the other hand, 16th with 18 points, just 3 points above Hull City in 22nd. Now, I don't think that's anything to worry about at the minute. We are over a third of the way through. However, you remember we're on 17 games, approaching 20. 23 is halfway, so we're not that far away from halfway, guys. Yet, 3 points above relegation. There's that many teams in the mix. You've got Coventry, who I think have shown that I still believe it was the players playing to get rid of him, I'm afraid, and I can see them rushing up. Then you got Oxford, Preston, Plymouth, Cardiff. Between them and Hull City, there's so many teams. You can't make any judgment at the minute. I think anybody who panics now in the so-called silly season, would be quite insane because of the number of teams that are in the same mix. So that was Leeds United versus Luton. We got the right score, the right result. I'm proud of that one. Cardiff versus QPR next. Let's have a look at how we did with Cardiff versus QPR. Now, I actually thought Cardiff would really, really be far too much for QPR. And I did say I think QPR will start to play better and will start to creep off that bottom, just like they always do. And I look at the game and I'm thinking, it really was all It really was all Cardiff. Really was all Cardiff. 68% possession, probably about right. Excuse me. 24 shots from that, which is absolutely brilliant, isn't it? 7 of those on target, which is good. From those 7 on target, no goals. Now that has to be just down to the QPR keeper, doesn't it? I mean, some of those shots were just absolutely blindingly saved. I mean, point blank header that I can remember even now. And how the hell he managed to grab that in his hands from literally about 1.5 feet, 2 foot away. And just unbelievable saves. And he was throwing himself all the way around that goal. And Cardiff just couldn't get it over the line. Even when they nearly thought they did it, the ball didn't fully cross the line before the keeper caught it and pushed it out. And you're thinking, it just wasn't Cardiff's day. They will have gone home feeling battered, bruised, and absolutely distraught over not getting at least a point. They should have got all 3, but QPR came away 2-0 winners. That last goal, I still think the player was offside. So when it was just because the Cardiff player headed it to him, and he's miles behind the line. Why he headed it to why he headed it to the Cardiff to Salah in the middle was just mindless. But one mistake, one goal, it wouldn't have made any difference. It was Cardiff 0, QPR 2. Cardiff played the better football. They were on the attack almost every time I looked at the game. So deserved winners? No, not really. But that's the way that's the way it happens when you've got a damn good goalkeeper that just happens to be on a prime day. He was just absolutely outstanding. Player of the match, QPR goalkeeper. Well, it is to me. So you were all saying it was going to be 2-1 or 1-0 either way. So I remember thinking, go on, which way we're going to go. I actually decided with the home team because it was pretty 50-50 from everybody. So I went 2-1 to Cardiff. It was 2-0 to QPR. So unfortunately, nothing from that one, but we have got a correct result and score, so I'm fine. Borough versus Blackburn next, and let's see what we thought about Borough versus Blackburn. I've got a feeling we got this one totally wrong. Yeah, well, we did, didn't we? Borough 0, Blackburn 1. And actually, I keep looking at that goal, and as far as I'm concerned, it's offside. As soon as the ball leaves the guy's foot to cross it to Hyam, Hyam is clearly a yard behind the last defender. To me, that shouldn't have stood. But it did, and it was a Blackburn win. 61% possession to Borough, 10 shots, only 2 on target. That's rather disappointing. And the shots that did go near the goal were very well saved by Blackburn, and the defence. That defence was really crunched up into the box, wasn't it, to make sure that Borough couldn't get through. Very well defended box there. Blackburn, 39% possession, 7 shots. Yeah, a little bit low, but they won the game. They won't care. Two shots on target out of that, 1 goal. Pretty good percentages from such a slightly low shot percentage. But did they deserve the win? Is the question. Not well. You see, I look at that Borough defence pushing forward, and certainly in the first half, the Borough defence pushed forward, and Blackburn kept catching them on the break and going straight through, it's typical Tut, the goal that got disallowed. Borough pushing forward, push, and then all of a sudden the ball comes through, and two of the Blackburn players were clearly offside. Or you could choose either of them, couldn't you? As it left the foot. So it's a difficult one for me. I think on the whole, I would say Blackburn did deserve the win because of the way that the game plan made the most of Borough's weaknesses and attacked their strengths really, really well. So because of the game plan, I would have to say Blackburn did deserve that 1-0 win on the whole. However, that particular goal shouldn't really have stood in my mind. I don't know what you think. If you think so, then please write it in the comment. If you think I'm talking rubbish, write it in the comment as well. I don't mind. Please do, and I'll respond to your comments. So it was Borough 0, Blackburn 1. We thought Blackburn would, the run of the green surely couldn't keep going the Blackburn way, can it? And it did do. We thought Borough 4, Blackburn 1, much like most of you lot thought it was going to be a Borough whitewash. And it wasn't. It was clearly the opposite way round, so we didn't get that one either. Portsmouth Millwall was called off rather late, so that's 2 games in a row, isn't it, that Portsmouth fans have been Portsmouth games being called off way too late. Their away game was called off while they were on the road, and now their home game gets called off while Millwall fans are on the road. So it's there's going to be. I mean, I should imagine that after 2 games like that, there's going to be something looked at here, because is this to do with Portsmouth? I mean, the first game could have been it was away from home, surely. So, but you can see some people will start adding 1 and 1 together and getting 3. They did with us with Rotherham United last year when the rains came down at the Cardiff game. Yeah. So no, less said the better. So less said. We'll go on to Derby versus Swansea. Oh dear, yeah, definitely. So Derby versus Swansea. Now we thought that we thought it was going to be quite even, isn't it? And I'm looking at everybody thinking, there's everything in here, but a lot of people are saying draw, and I went with you lot. Go on, we'll go for a draw. There was 1 or 2 said Derby, and the rest said a draw. And I thought, yeah, most of you are saying draw. I went 2-2 with most of you, and it's like, yeah, go on. I know Swansea can score, but you're not actually suggesting to me that Swansea were going to win. So I went with a draw. In the end, Swansea did actually win it 2-1, so it was Derby 1, Swansea 2. So we didn't get anything from that. But what were the stats like? Surprisingly enough, the stats don't really show the game as I see it. Derby County 43% possession, 18 shots from that, which is pretty good and probably about right. It did look quite high. 7 shots on target. However, a lot of them were mishit, mistimed, misaimed. The number of times the player it seemed to be the same one, just swiped at it, mishit it, hit it against the floor underneath him, and it bobbled away somewhere, God knows where. You've got to be hitting the ball right, and that miss. I mean, the miss from a yard, 2 yards out. How in the hell did he miss the net? And you see the camera angle from right behind him, and the goalkeeper just goes to ground. And there's half a net in front of him, and he's got to put this in the net, surely to God. And it hits the bar, doesn't it, and bounces up and off and away. You've got to be finishing better than that, and Warney will be absolutely just furious about the fact that they just couldn't hit the ball right in the final third. I mean, never mind they couldn't hit the target; they just couldn't even hit the ball. 18 shots, 7 on target, but the 7 were pretty dismal attempts. It's no wonder they only got 1 goal. Let's just get this right with the penalties, guys. The first penalty was not a penalty. He went down like a sack of spuds. The guy, I mean, the Sky said, "Oh yeah, he clipped his ankle." And I'm thinking, if he clipped his ankle, that must have been by the hair's breadth. And there's no way why nobody taps somebody's ankle like that, and he goes down like a sack of spuds immediately. Try that with a rugby player. He'd have carried on and probably turned around and then, in the next scrum, given you a good rough tackle back and got away with it as well. So, it makes no sense. It wasn't a penalty, nowhere near. And I'd go as far as saying the penalty that was issued. The Swansea guy knew he'd done something pretty iffy as far as penalties concerned, because he immediately landed on one foot and went, "Oh shit," and waved his hand at the ref saying, I didn't mean anything there, Gov. And he didn't. And I wouldn't have given a penalty to the second one, because it wasn't malicious and it didn't make any change to the game. There wasn't. It didn't stop them from having a goal scoring opportunity. Had he just stayed up, he would have had the same chances to shoot as he would have if he hadn't. So it didn't make any difference to me. But he fell down far too easy and far too heavily, and sort of sat there going, I'm sorry, grow up. You're not a 9-year-old kid that's had his dummy took out of him, a 4-year-old kid that's had his dummy took out of his mouth. But they act like it, and to me, if they do that, just tell them to get up and stop acting like a child. Swansea, just better for me. 57% possession to Swansea. I actually thought they had less of the ball, to be quite honest. I think Derby had it the run of the play quite often, but apparently they didn't on statistics. So what do I know? I'm a Rotherham fan. 57%, 3 shots, 2 on target, 2 goals. Ouch. I mean, really, they were penned in, weren't they, guys? And they never really looked like causing too much of a hassle at the other end. But the 3 times that they ran to the other end, twice they scored. The football, I think the passing to me on those 3 attempts, the passing before it were just absolutely brilliant, spot on. If things went wrong, well, the other thing I liked about Swansea is that when things went wrong, when they lost the ball, when they got that slightly high tackle, they didn't fall over like a sack of spuds. They didn't sort of run, oh, I've just been hit by him. No, they carried on. They grabbed the ball and they passed it straight to someone else. And on at least 2 occasions in there, they did that. And Cardiff just stood there as if to say, well, it's going to stop for a free kick, isn't it? No, they carried on. They didn't stop and drop on the floor like you expected them to do. They carried on, and Cardiff City just stood there Cardiff Derby stood there. I'm thinking of the Derby. Cardiff City, for heaven's sake, Derby stood there, and Swansea passed the ball straight past. So if I said Cardiff before, I meant Derby. I do apologise. I'm thinking of the South Wales Derby, and now this is Swansea. Oh God, I'm getting old. I must stop this game. So, Swansea, well-deserved winners. 2-1 to Swansea. We said 2-2 because most of you were saying Swansea 2-2, 2-2, or Derby 1-0, possibly. So, unfortunately, we all got it wrong, and we don't get anything from that. So, we'll move on to Saturday now, and we'll do a little prediction for our championship games, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. Please do like and subscribe. I do need a lot more subscribers for it to be worthwhile doing this. I'm thinking about inserting some boxing and some cricket, and maybe a little bit of news golf wise. If there's any other sports that you particularly would like me to cover, and you are subscribed, then please do give me a suggestion, and we'll look into it, because I think some of these, like the nighttime cricket, we could certainly sort of sneak a couple of little shows in live to see what's happening for half an hour and talk over the way the match is going. So I don't see why not. I quite like the game. I quite like several different games. Yeah, I'm okay with golf. I'm okay with cricket. So if you have any particular sport that you'd like me to cover, please do put it in the comment and we can consider it, because I do think we need to make the sports channel a little bit more broader than just football and running. And Jon S Sports channel, over and out. Please do like and subscribe for one more review. Thank you very much.